Yo, listen. So we're gonna get straight to the point. First of all, I want to say thanks again for tuning into my channel. All right, so if my voice sound a little raspy, I'm starting to get a little feeling some kind of way in my throat. But again, I really appreciate my subscribers and for those who are chiming in on this channel in the videos. So today I just want to talk about what are some good cues to know that you're working the right muscles. All right, so I always tell people you want to start simple as possible. I'm not really concerned with advanced movements. But if your fitness level is where it needs to be, then definitely do advanced movements. But you can be an advanced individuals and still do things modified, right? Modified is just pretty much doing it less strenuous, less intensity placed on the muscle fibers to see if the right muscles are firing or not. All right, so for example, in a push-up, I always tell my clients, potential clients, or for those who's watching, what should a push-up look like? Well, don't forget, building muscle, it's all about angles. Why? Because it's all about positive manipulation on the muscle fibers. That's what we want to do. A general push-up would normally be probably around 45-degree angle. Doing this 45-degree angle, meaning that when you're doing a push-up, it's going to be probably in between. It's not going to be in here. And that's not going to be out there. It's going to be kind of in between at a 45-degree angle. Why is that? Why? Well, you have to realize one of the prime movements is going to be your tricep, and the next move is going to be your pecs major and minor, which is around your chest plate. So you're doing push-ups. You can do advanced or you can do modified. You should be pretty much sore or tight in those two areas, which is your tricep and the chest. Now, doing push-up, the chest is normally your prime mover, which is your main mover. And your helper, your secondary mover, is going to be your tricep. Keep that in mind. So, hey, listen, don't feel bad to my fellas and my sisters out there. If you need to start on your knees, modify it just to make sure that you're still firing the same muscle group on your knees or actually doing the full push-up. Next, squats. How do you know if you're working the same muscle group or not? Well, again, everybody's body's different. We got different makeups and all of the above, and we got different events, meaning that a partner of mine, he's the same height, but he got an overdeveloped bicep as if he's 6'5", but I'm 5'9". See what I mean? So everybody got different makeups, right? So for squats, if you're doing a squat, I will always tell my clients to actually make sure you can open up your legs a little wider than your shoulder width to open up the hip gate muscle, and you want to drop to at least 90 degrees. 90 degrees is going to give you at least activation within your quads and your glutes. But most people like to do butt to the ground, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But don't forget, the depth that you go, you hit different muscle groups. So if you go to the ground, you are mainly focusing on the glutes the lower you go, but it's still beneficial firing through the range of motion because you're dropping so far down. But if you choose to stop mid halfway, you're mainly focusing on your quads because you're in that contraction phase, right? You can explode up, count down slow, whatever works for you. But you mainly want to push from the back of the heel to focus on your quads or your glutes and come up. Now, when you're coming up from a squat, aim not to lock all the way out. It's bad on your knee joints and it's possible you can pass out. You want to make sure you keep that blood flowing, proper circulation throughout the body. You got something called blood pulling. So when you're doing legs, naturally your legs, the muscle in your legs, will aim to try to pull all the oxygen from your body. And it'd be very tough for your upper extremity to breathe, which is why sometimes people get lightheaded. Keep that in mind. All right, 3. When you're doing curls, where do you feel it? Well, the prime move of curls is what? Bicep. Most people don't know that you have a 3B. You got the bicep brachial, you got the brachial, and then you got the brachial radialis. Those are called the 3Bs. But the main mover in curls will be bicep. So if you're curling and you may feel it in your forearms, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing the wrong thing, right? It just means that you may need to be able to isolate that certain muscle that should be firing the most and shutting off unnecessary movement in other muscles. Another thing is, if you're doing curls and you start to feel in your forearm, doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing something wrong. No. Some people may have an overdeveloped forearm or brachial to the point to where that forearm want to do most of the work. You may see people when they're curling that they're actually doing stuff like this. So you're curling the forearm before you even actually curl the weight, meaning that you're going to contract the forearm first as a prime mover to actually then focus on the secondary movement, which is your bicep. That shouldn't be the case. Your bicep should be the prime mover. So you really should stack the joints, keep the forearm straight with the wrist going down like this instead of doing this. See what's going on? So a lot of times you just, if the muscle's not really used to a certain contraction, they tend to help out and want to be active in every activity. All right, and last will be shoulders. You got delt raises, you got shoulders and whatnot. What should you be feeling in your shoulders? Most likely, doing a shoulder movement, you're gonna feel it in your deltoids. Now, your deltoids is the front delt side, which is the lateral, and the back, which is the posterior, the rotator cuff. Doing any kind of shoulder movement, that's where you mainly should feel it. But most likely, some people got weaker shoulders, or they may have stronger shoulders, right? So how would you know if you're doing it the right way? Well, the thing is, you don't want joint pains overall, chest, legs, shoulders, or whatnot. You should not be feeling no type of joint pain while you're working out. You should be feeling nothing but good contraction, blood flow, right? And activation within your muscles. And you will know if you feel it. It's kind of hard to explain, but at the same time, you'll feel warm in this area here. And I really prefer to do shoulder presses. Now, sometimes I do shoulder presses and I'm like this. I'm not going all the way up. Why is that? Because I want to keep my muscles in contraction. I want to pump that blood flow much as possible to failure to build muscle, but mainly to get a bigger muscle. I want to really allow fluids to sarcoplasmic to be around that muscle fiber. That's what's going to make it appear to be bigger. Now, if I want it to be stronger, then I just get heavier weight and fully lock out and not do as many reps. That's two different things, but that will be in another video. I hope this video made sense to those who are watching. And if you like this video, I'm pretty sure you're going to like the next video, right? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please, whatever you do, don't be afraid to be understanding where you at in your journey. I know we like to look at people online and whatnot, and you may be inspired by he or her, right? But you have to already know where you're at and be inspired enough to start where you at and be willing to finish with a certain mindset. You have to be okay with that. And I promise you, you can't fail. You cannot fail with that mindset. But listen, like I always tell you guys, listen, leave a comment, give me your thoughts, stay focused, keep grinding. You got this, and you got this some more. Does that make sense? Listen, to the next video. Thanks for your support. Peace out.